Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. I think I told y'all enough stories. So now let's get into some more of this personal and professional development material that you know and love me for. Hopefully you love me for. Maybe even like me for. Hopefully you don't hate me for. But let's talk about building a brand. All the time people ask me about Dre, I want to build, people say to me, Dre, I want to build a brand, or I want to do maybe something similar to what you're doing. Maybe if it's an athlete or even someone who's outside of the sports realm, I want to be able to build a brand and make a living off of being myself and talking about the things that matter most to me. How am I able to build my brand? How can I get my brand name out there and get my message out there and be able to generate revenue from it and create opportunities for myself from doing so? I'm gonna tell you 3 simple things about building your brand that are probably counterintuitive. Actually, the overall ideas may be counterintuitive. Then I'm gonna tell you 3 things to support this counterintuitive idea. And the idea is this: your brand really is about what you're saying about yourself. That's what your brand really is about. A lot of people think their brand is how many followers they have on the internet, or how many brand deals they're able to generate, or what opinion they can get other people to think about them, how you can get other people to feel about you. But your brand is not really about how other people feel about you. Your brand is about how you feel about you. And I'll explain to you exactly what I mean. But 3 really simple points. Now we understand. I remember I went to this conference maybe like 7 years ago, and this woman, her whole thing was about teaching people how to build their brands and get themselves out there in the thought leadership world. Now, I didn't know anything about the whole concept of it at that time. I had already built a brand at that point, but I went to her event because she was like, I teach people how to do professional speaking and get into thought leadership and all this stuff. Now, half the stuff she was teaching I had already done, but I went to it anyway because I didn't know anybody else. As I went there, and I remember the first day she's talking about brand building, and she says something like, well, your brand is whatever Google says about you or whatever these platforms are saying about you. And then she was talking about how people who are thought leaders write books. Now, I'd already written books. I already had a presence on the internet, maybe more than anybody in that room. But anyway, I'm still listening to this woman. She wasn't very good. But anyway, the point is this. She said, your brand is what Google is saying about you. And while I do agree with that, you have to understand that there are layers to it. All right, what does Google say about you is whatever is being said about you. What Google doesn't come up with their own opinion of you. All Google does is go find what's already being said, and they aggregate it and they just put it in one place. We call it the Google search results, right? Google.com. Well, where do those comments come from? Where do those articles come from? Where do those blog posts come from? What other people are saying about you all over the internet? They come from the source of it. The root of it is what you are saying about yourself. Because the only thing other people can say about you is what they see. They can only go off of what they observe and what they see and what they hear, what they read, whatever it is. And where does that come from? It comes from something that you have written or something that you have said, something that you have chosen to present, a picture that you posted, an article that you wrote, an audio that you spoke, a video that you published. It all comes from you on some level. You have somehow, some way put something out there that gives another person a certain impression, that leads them to saying something, that leads Google to finding it, and leads it to landing on that search result, which leads to your brand. Your brand is sourced from what you are saying about yourself. All right, that is the point that I want you to get from this. Your brand is always based on what you're saying about you. So do not think that Google is controlling your brand, or what somebody else said or this person over here said is the basis of your brand. No, the basis of your brand is what you're saying about you, because nobody else can observe you or say anything about you or have an opinion about you until you start talking about yourself, or until you choose to talk about yourself. The second thing, people ask, well, Dre, what are some things I need to do to start building my brand? Do I need to get on Instagram? Should I be on the Clubhouse app? Do I need to write a book? Should I give away a free download? Do I need to try to do a collaboration with this person or that person? Do I need a YouTube channel? Understand, you're building your brand every single day. Every time you do anything that ends up on the internet, you are building your brand. Every single day, every single moment, you are building your brand, because what did I just explain to you? Your brand is based on the way that you're presenting yourself to the world. Other people perceive that, and then they say stuff about you. But again, they have to see something or hear something or read something from you before they can talk about you, which means however you choose to present yourself is going to be reflected directly in the way that people pick up on you. Now, maybe, is it possible that somebody could take something you say out of context, or they don't really like you, so they'll take anything you say and try to make you look crazy? Yes, of course. Trust me, it's happened to me many times over. But in aggregate, overall, the more you put yourself out there, however you want to put yourself out there, the overall opinion of you is going to be based on how you are consistently putting yourself out into the world. So even if somebody takes you out of context and tries to make you look crazy, even if somebody doesn't like you and they try to put out something to make you look bad, overall, the overall picture of you that the internet is sharing is going to be a reflection of how you present yourself. So if you present yourself as someone with no confidence, as someone who shouldn't be believed in, that's what the internet's going to say. You present yourself as someone who should be believed in, someone who should be listened to, someone who knows their stuff, that's what the internet's going to say. All you need to do is figure out exactly who you need to be as a person. And in my book, Mirror of Motivation, I help you with this. That's the very essence of the book. So go to mirrorofmotivation.com, claim your free copy of the book. The link is down in the video description. That will help you get clear on exactly what the essence is of how you're presenting yourself. And from there, the internet is going to reflect however you're putting yourself out. So in other words, the second point, you are building your brand every single day, every single moment, even when you're not on the internet. How you feel about you is going to be reflected in when you do put yourself out there in your brand. And the third thing is this, looking at yourself and looking at the ideal reflection of your brand, the way that you actually want to be presented into the world. Let me ask you this question. On a scale of 0 to 100, with 0 being not at all and 100 being perfect, how much of your ideal self are you reflecting in your material on a day-to-day basis? Your material can be your YouTube, your LinkedIn, the articles that you write, the books that you put out, and just the interactions you're having with human beings off the internet every single day. How much are you walking around being the person that you ideally want to be? If you're not ideally being the person that you truly want to be in your life, understand that you are hurting your brand every single moment, because you are training your subconscious mind and saying, or this is the person that I am. The thing that you do repeatedly is who you are, right? That's what Aristotle said. So if you want to be this level of individual, you need to start being this level of person right now in the way that you think. Even if you don't have the money yet, or you don't have the car yet, or you don't have the accomplishments or the name brand yet, you need to start thinking and acting and walking and talking like this person right now before you get there. And this is not fake it till you make it. All right, this is becoming it and staying there right now, even before you get to that point. This is part of building your brand. Again, your brand starts with how you feel about yourself, because that's what you will naturally project to the world. Other people will naturally pick up on it because they are not going to do a deep analysis of you. Unless they're a private investigator and somebody paid them, they're not going to do a deep investigation of who you are and what you're really about. They're just going to judge you on what they see on the surface. And what they see on the surface is what you are choosing to present. And you can control that at any time just by being conscious of it often enough that it becomes habitual to the point that you don't have to think about it and it just becomes your normal way of being. This is how you build your brand. So let me recap these 3 points that I told you here, that your brand is really about what you say about yourself. Number one, yes, your brand is what the internet or Google says about you. But guess what? The internet and Google can't talk about you until you start talking. All right, they can only go off of what you present. So you present yourself how you want to be perceived, and that's the only thing the internet can go off of. People can't perceive something in you that you're not giving them. Number two, you are building your brand every single day. Every single moment you're building your brand. When you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, you're building your brand. When you slump down in the chair with bad posture, you're building your brand. When you present yourself as a person who lacks confidence, you are building your brand. Everything that you do is building your brand from the inside out. How you feel about yourself is the most important aspect of your brand, even if there's no internet connected devices in the room. And number three, ask yourself, on a scale of 0 to 100, how much are you presenting to yourself right now? How much are you representing to yourself right now, the ideal person that you want to be? If you are not being that ideal person right now, then you are effectively hurting your brand. You are destroying your brand because you're not being the person that you want the world to see you as. If you want to change that, you got to change your actions. The first way to get started with it is to go down the video description below, click the link to claim your free copy of my book, The Mirror of Motivation. The subtitle is The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. What that book is really about is you being the person that you need to be. Not faking, not pretending, not no alter ego, none of that shit. Is you actually becoming that person right now in real life. Not pretending for a short period of time, no. Doing it right now. Go to mirrorofmotivation.com, claim your free copy of that book, and work on your game. Dre, oh yeah, one more thing. You like this video, if this resonated with you, is giving you something that really helps, give you insight, send me a text message. My number is 305-384-6894, 305-384-6894. I got my phone right here. I will see your text. Again, 305-384-6894. Send me a text, work on your game. Dre, all.